The White House reportedly wants to restrict access to Anthropic's most powerful model, Claude Mythos, treating it like a national security asset. Meanwhile, Microsoft is quietly benchmarking Claude against its own Copilot, and Claude Code just hit 4% of all public GitHub commits. It's Monday, May 5th, 2026, and the AI landscape is reshaping itself faster than anyone planned. From the team at the Synthetic Daily, it's Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Good to have you with us.
We went through about 40 posts, articles, and threads across LinkedIn, Substack, and YouTube over the past week to dive deeper into the world of AI for builders.
Here's a sentence I never expected to say on this show. The United States government apparently wants to treat an AI model the way it treats enriched uranium. Wes Roth broke the story on YouTube last week to nearly 40,000 viewers. The White House is exploring restrictions on Anthropic's Claude Mythos, their most capable model, potentially limiting its availability to foreign actors on national security grounds. The framing, according to Roth's reporting, is that Mythos is, quote, too dangerous for unrestricted global access.
Now, let's be clear about what this means and what it doesn't. We're not talking about an export ban on semiconductors here. That already happened years ago. This is about the model itself, the weights, the API access. It's a philosophical leap. For the first time, a civilian AI system developed by a private company is being discussed in the same breath as dual-use technology. Think about that. We went from, should we regulate AI, eventually to, this specific model might need classification-level controls, in about 18 months.
The timing matters too. Shorik Malmum, who tracks AI releases professionally, noted on LinkedIn that even she can't keep up with Anthropic's pace anymore. Her recap included Mythos as a leaked model name, Anthropic's most capable system, sitting above the Opus 4.6 and Sonnet 4.6 models that already sport million token context windows. If Mythos represents a genuine capability jump beyond what's publicly available, the national security framing starts to make more strategic sense, even if it raises enormous questions about who gets to decide which knowledge is too powerful to share. While Washington debates whether Claude is too dangerous for the world, Microsoft is apparently deciding whether it's too good to ignore. Nate B. Jones posted a video that pulled over 36,000 engagements on YouTube. Microsoft is actively testing Claude against its own Copilot product, internally, as a benchmark.
Let that sink in. Microsoft has poured billions into OpenAI. Copilot is the commercial face of that partnership. It's in Office, it's in Windows, it's in Azure. And yet someone inside Redmond is running head-to-head evaluations with the competitor's model. This isn't betrayal, exactly, it's pragmatism. Enterprise customers don't care about partnership narratives. They care about which model writes better code, catches more bugs, summarizes documents more accurately. If Claude wins those comparisons, Microsoft has a business problem.
This also reflects something structural happening in the market. The AI coding tool landscape, according to recent analysis from a new stack, has fractured into a composable stack. Codex is the cloud-based autonomous agent. Fire and forget. Cursor is the visual AI IDE for interactive editing. Claude Code is the terminal native assistant with deep code-based reasoning. They're supposed to be different philosophies, but they're rapidly copying each other's best features. OpenAI shipped a Codex plugin that runs inside Claude Code. Cursor rebuilt its orchestration UI. The walls between these tools are dissolving. For Microsoft, the question isn't really Claude or Copilot. It's whether they can afford to bet everything on a single underlying model when the competition is this fierce. Here's a number that should make every engineering manager pause. Claude Code authored approximately 4% of all public GitHub commits in March 2026. Semi-analysis tracked this by analyzing diff patterns and commit message cadence, basically the digital fingerprint of AI-generated code. 4% might sound small until you realize that's across all of GitHub. Every hobby project, every Fortune 500 repo, every open source library. 4% of everything.
Tom from ICOR posted a video that captured this moment perfectly. He built an entire platform end-to-end, using an AI team running on Claude Code. His title: AI is just hype, they said. The platform is live. It works. It was built by machines orchestrated by a human. This isn't a demo anymore. It's production software.
Codex hasn't been standing still either. It now has a full IDE extension, a web app, Slack integration, multi-agent support, image inputs, and an SDK. It hit 3 million weekly active users. But the commit data suggests Claude Code has a structural advantage in deep code-based reasoning. That million-token context window means it can hold an entire large project in memory while it works. For developers, the implication is becoming unavoidable. Your next teammate might not have a pulse. And the questions shift from can AI write code to how do we review, govern, and trust code that humans never touched? Anthropic seems to be aware of this. They've added automated security reviews to Claude Code workflows via GitHub Actions, essentially building guardrails into the velocity. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. Anthropic made a move last week that's easy to overlook but might matter more than any model upgrade. Claude connectors now plug directly into creative tools. Blender, Adobe Creative Cloud, Autodesk Fusion, Ableton Live. Chorik Malmum reported that Anthropic also joined the Blender Development Fund, a signal they're not just building integrations as an afterthought, but investing in the creative tool ecosystem directly.
Let me push into this a little. This is the Model Context Protocol story made tangible. MCP, Anthropic's integration standard released back in late 2024, has exploded. Monthly SDK downloads went from 8 million in March 2025 to 97 million by November. In December, Anthropic donated MCP to the Linux Foundation, which ended the "is this just their proprietary thing" debate. OpenAI adopted it. Google adopted it. Microsoft adopted it. It's now the JSON RPC-based standard for how AI agents discover and invoke external tools.
Ruben Hassid demonstrated what this looks like in practice on LinkedIn, connecting Claude to Gmail, Google Calendar, Notion, Google Drive, all through the connectors interface. His post about 7 connectors doing the copy-paste work for you got nearly 2,000 engagements. But the creative tools angle is different. When Claude can talk to Blender, you're not just saving clicks, you're enabling a fundamentally different workflow where natural language becomes a manipulation interface for three-dimensional space. Some creators see liberation. Others see the devaluation of years of hard-won technical skill. Both are probably right. Let me bring up something related. For all this velocity, here's the sobering counterweight. Only 6% of companies fully trust AI agents to autonomously run their core business processes. That's from a Harvard Business Review survey of over 600 business and technology leaders. 6%. 31% cite cybersecurity and privacy as their top concern. 23% worry about data quality. 22% say their business processes aren't ready.
Daniel Jinda's YouTube series on the 3 layers of every AI agent setup, which pulled strong engagement across multiple videos, speaks directly to this gap. His framework breaks agent architecture into orchestration, execution, and review layers. The message is clear. You can't just deploy an agent and walk away. You need the governance layer, the human-in-the-loop checkpoints, the ability to inspect what happened and why.
Jan LeCun, meanwhile, is pushing in a different direction entirely. He shared a tutorial on self-supervised learning and joint embedding predictive architecture, JEPA, his long-running bet that the path to truly capable AI isn't through language models at all, but through world models that learn by prediction rather than next token generation. And Gary Marcus weighed in with a sharp essay about Richard Dawkins falling for what Marcus calls the Claude delusion. The belief that because Claude's outputs sound conscious, they must reflect genuine inner experience. Marcus argues Dawkins is making a behaviorist error, confusing eloquent self-description with actual sentience. The philosophical debate matters because it shapes how much autonomy we're willing to grant these systems. And right now, 94% of enterprises are answering not much. There's another angle worth talking about. Ruben Hassid is teaching people how to duplicate themselves in a Claude over a weekend. His method: download the desktop app, set Opus 4.7 as default, turn on extended thinking, then run a structured interview with yourself. 100 questions across 7 categories. Push past vague answers. Then compress the transcript from 20,000 words into 4,000 tokens and save it as a markdown file. Load it into a fresh Claude chat and test whether the output sounds like you.
This isn't just productivity hacking. It's something stranger. When you create a compressed representation of your voice, your decision-making patterns, your professional identity, and feed it to a model that can already reason at a high level, you've built a cognitive avatar. It's not sentient, despite what Dawkins might suggest, but it can write your emails, respond in your tone, make your kinds of arguments. The question Hassid isn't asking, but that his audience is clearly wondering. At what point does the clone do your job better than you do? And at that point, what exactly are you being paid for? This is the real frontier. Not whether AI can code or create 3D models, but whether it can be you, convincingly enough that the distinction stops mattering to the people on the other end.
All right, let's zoom out and talk about the bigger picture. What are the main themes running through everything we covered today? The first big theme is AI as sovereign asset. The framing of frontier models as national security resources signals a future where model access becomes geopolitically negotiated, much like nuclear materials or advanced chip fabrication.
Next, protocol convergence. MCP's journey from single vendor spec to Linux Foundation standard in 13 months suggests that integration protocols, not model quality alone, will determine which AI ecosystems win enterprise adoption.
Next, the velocity trust paradox. AI tools are generating production code and creative work at unprecedented speed, yet enterprise willingness to delegate critical processes remains in single digits, creating a dangerous gap where individual practitioners outrun organizational governance.
And the last one, identity as data. The emerging practice of encoding personal voice and decision patterns into model context transforms professional identity from something you embody into something you can export, version, and potentially replace. So if you're going to take away a few things from today's episode, here's what I'd remember.
Number 1, when a civilian AI model gets discussed like Enriched Uranium, the regulatory window has shifted permanently. Every lab should be planning for access controls they never imagined needing.
Number 2, the real competitive moat in AI tooling isn't model intelligence anymore, it's integration depth. Whoever owns the protocol layer owns the workflow.
Number 3, if 4% of GitHub commits are already AI authored, and the Trust Survey says 94% of enterprises aren't ready to let agents run autonomously, we're building a code supply chain that outpaces our ability to govern it.
And finally, the people who figure out what humans uniquely contribute after their cognitive patterns become exportable data will define the next era of professional value.
That's the Synthetic Daily for today. All the sources and links are on the website if you want to dig deeper.
Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.